So we have the releases of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and Series S have been released, and we've kind of expected this, but there have been bugs or issues that have come along with each individual system. For the PS5, you have issues with it where if you put it in the rest mode, the system can just sometimes shut off. A lot of people have had those problems, so a lot of people have lost a lot of their progression in their game, their save data and stuff like that. Another issue is you can order, let's say you order the PS5 disc version from Sony, they would send some people the discless version and vice versa. With the Xbox, if you put a disc into the Xbox Series X, it will make like some loud, horrible grinding noise, sounding like a lawnmower or something like that. With hearing all these different things, how are you guys feeling about, or just give your takes on everything that we have been seeing going on with these new generation console systems? So we'll start with you, Devin.
So, okay, this is to me a perfect example of why you don't, in some cases, most cases, I would say you don't adopt super early. I don't even remember the last time I bought a console on release, like right at release. I think I got my PS4 like maybe a year or so after it had been out. I think PS3, I got PS3 on launch. I did get PS3 on launch. I didn't have any issues with that, luckily. But yeah, this is a perfect example of sometimes just wait to see what's going to happen with these consoles. And also, I never thought about this, but it just came to mind. This is like the first time we've been in like a pandemic like this with the console release. Like this is my first time ever seeing a console release in a wide world spread pandemic like this. So I'm sure that like COVID had a lot of things to do with like some of the stuff that's going on. Honestly, I kind of maybe thought that they might have delayed it with everything that's going on. But these issues are just, the grinding noise with the Xbox is one of those things like, do you just keep the disc in there and let it stay? Is it actually getting damaged or is it just a sound? So if I heard my system like I'm about to go outside and like start, trimming up my lawn, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna turn the system off. So um yeah, it's just, man. And people like the PlayStation 5, people were saying about, the system kind of like bricking and like doing like you put it in rest mode, it does like these weird things. It's just like, man, this technology is definitely new. We're in like the new age of this next generation. So me personally, I mean, I'm gonna wait because I just bought a PC, built a PC not too long ago. So I'm just like, right now, the next gen consoles aren't looking too appealing to me just because of the fact that there's not a lot of games that I see that I want to play. I do want to experience the next gen, but I think right now it's just best to wait. Also, we didn't mention, but I read some tweets earlier this week about the UK's release of it. Like people be getting like rocks in their boxes from Amazon and stuff, boxes of rice. So it's like right now, to me, I'm just gonna wait, man.
Sound like a good deal.
I mean, maybe if I
Yeah,
got the
we all
rice
need
with,
food.
if I get the rice with my PlayStation, but if I just get a PlayStation 5 box with just rice in there, yo, come on now. I even saw somewhere where somebody they ordered, I don't, first of all, I don't know why you would order a PS5 off of Wish, but somebody had a PS4
Oh, you
box.
were setting yourself up for failure with that one.
Yes, it was a PS4 box, Last of Us Remastered Edition, and they cut out a PS5 and put it on there. And I'm like,
No.
you deserve that.
My God.
So yeah, in conclusion, in summary, just wait.
I think I remember seeing something in eBay. Some dude put digital box only, and it had like 900 and something dollars in it, and there was like 12 bids on it, and I think the dude received it or something, and it was just the box itself. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, yo, man, there's a lot of swindlers out there, bro. Like, but off a Wish though, why?
Hey man.
I don't know, man. But I agree that you should probably just wait. It's the problem is that when a console comes out, I mean, and this is the same with like video games too. So, and this is just my opinion. Most video games come out day one with problems. Like, have you ever, if you've ever bought a Ubisoft game in your entire life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They always launch with some problems. Oh man, remember when Assassin's Creed Unity came out?
Shots
It was
fired.
a broken mess, absolutely, almost completely unplayable. And that's if you just played the single player. If you played the multiplayer, it was actually unplayable. Like for the most part, it was 80% unplayable. God help you. You would try to connect to your friends, and then you finally connect to your friends, and then you disconnect. Or you connect to your friends, you play for a little bit, and you disconnect. Or sometimes you just wouldn't get a connection at all. That's what playing an Ubisoft game is like. So it's best to and if it's best to just not bother buying a game and buying a console at launch. Excuse me, buying a console at launch because there's so many problems. This is no matter what they say to you, and I will be 100% honest with you, with everybody like listening, everybody watching. 100%, whatever console you bought at launch, that's not the real console. That is the prototype. You bought the prototype. You are a beta tester. You are a beta tester for the next version of the console that comes out. I'm just being honest. You are a beta tester. You paid what? How much is it? How much is it? I don't even know. Anybody? Can anybody tell me? Anybody?
What, 500 for the disc version of the PlayStation 5 and like 3 for the discless?
Yeah, exactly. You paid like what, $400-$500 to be a beta tester. Congratulations. I hope you feel good because in like 2 years, when I buy the console and I decide, hey, you know what, I want to buy the next version of the console, which comes out for like another maybe $100-$200 less. All of you will be in my thoughts. I promise. All of you will be in my thoughts. I'm gonna go on Twitter and do it. I said thank you to everybody who bought the console day one and helped them sort out all the problems so I didn't have to go through what they went through. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants right now.
This man is evil. Evil amazing.
I'm just saying, man. Didn't you guys ever see that video that they made? Don't ever buy a console at launch. Don't ever buy a console at launch, man. Don't ever buy a console at launch. Who made that? Brental Floss? I think Brental Floss made that. Like, he made that video. It's like, don't ever buy a console at launch, or Apple products. Don't ever buy a console at launch. Just keep that in your head whenever you're going to buy a console. Don't buy them at launch because they're always going to have problems. There's always going to be a problem. You might get the hit the lottery and get the one console, the one console that doesn't have problems, but most of them are going to have problems. And you're going to go on Twitter and you're going to be mad because you got a problem, or God forbid, like Devin was talking about, you go on Wish, which why would you do that and try to buy a console off of Wish and end up with some like ridiculousness? Oh man, who would do that, man? Like, it's bad enough like you're trying to getting scammed on eBay, but if you go on Wish, man, you're just asking for it. It's almost like, oh please scam me, please. Like, I have all this money to spend. Here, just scam me, man. Just give me a box of rocks. So, yeah, man. Consoles are like, it's basically the prototype. These things come out with all these problems, and they're waiting for you guys to report them. They're going to handle them. They're going to calmly handle them because they knew there were problems. It's not like this is new to them. Like, they're like, oh, I've never seen this before in my life. They know they got problems, but they're waiting to see how many people like report them. In my opinion, I think they're waiting to see, okay, so how many people are actually going to have this problem? Okay, let's see. 99% of the people have this problem. Okay, we got to address that problem. Maybe some people, only a little bit of people have problems with their consoles bricking. Maybe don't have to address that problem too badly. Remember when the 360 came out and they had the red ring of death? Man, they had to basically have the warranty extend, what was it, like 3 years just for that one problem. Just for that one problem. They had to like, and let's be honest, like that was pretty much, if your Xbox 360 console was white, you bought a prototype. If it was a white console, you bought a prototype pretty much, because all of them had that red ring of death. So man, do yourself a favor. Just wait a year, wait 2 years. It'll come out. The price will be dropped. They'll have a bundle. It'll have like 4 or 5 games, maybe 2 games that you know you want to play. Might even come with an extra controller. Buy like the Gears of War copy. Buy the Gears of War version of the Xbox Series X. Buy the next like Uncharted version of the PlayStation 5. Don't hurt yourself. Buying at launch. You don't need to stand in line. You don't need to like what to camp out. Just wait till next year. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck, and you won't be a beta tester. But for those of you who are, thank you very much for your service. I will never forget you.
I mean, like going by what Evan and Devin were saying, and the sad part is we need people to buy them at launch to test out these things. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna like, not buy it and wait for everyone else, because you need that info. The company needs the info, right? So, and there are cases like, remember with the PlayStation 3 when the first one came out, it was backwards compatible. Then the ones following after weren't. So I'm assuming people also think, well, if it's backwards compatible with the first one at launch, they want to take advantage of that, and they probably end up buying it. But for the most part, it's like, you have to, like, some people just have to buy it. That's what the companies expect from it. They can't test anything else until they see how it works in actual environments from every gamer. I was reading up an article the other day with I think it was Walmart or GameStop. They had the PlayStation enclosed, right? And that's a very powerful console in the sense that it needs a lot of airflow to come in. When you have that encased, obviously you're gonna have like a hot box in there, so it's like that's the type of testing that the Sony and Xbox companies probably just end up needing, because every gamer has a different setup, different room environment temperatures, so they got to test it out. I think in Xbox case with the disk drives, it's like you would think that'd be the least amount of problems it would have, because it's made from another manufacturer, and it doesn't have anything to do with how it's supposed to be soldered on or like hooked up, so in Sony's case, some of their disk drives just don't work, so you don't have to deal with the grinding noises when you put a disk in there. But I think for the most part, it's like
Positive thinking.
you definitely do need to test it, but at the same time, like how Evan was mentioning, you have to like avoid getting it at launch usually, because it's like you're wasting $500. If you're gonna waste $500, at least wait till everything is optimized, in the sense of hardware and how everything else is gonna go. We're not saying don't buy it till like 2 years. I mean, Evan's saying that, but I'm just saying,
I am.
It takes Sony about maybe 3-4 months for them to actually throw out an update to fix up all the issues usually for bugs. They're around that time, right? Every quarter or so. But Xbox case is different, people tossing up videos and stuff like that of it like burning up inside, and I'm like, I mean, maybe that might be a case that it actually does end up burning or something like that, but for the most part, I think the real issue is the hardware that Xbox has going on, and it's like, you would think it's Microsoft, they based off PC gaming for the most part in a lot of cases, and it's like, how are you messing up a console so bad to the point where it's a lot less intensive than a PC. Let's be honest. There are PC rigs that are $2,000 and up that have a lot more going on in it, and it doesn't mess up usually. So I don't know. I think in that case, it's like how Evan was saying, preferably don't buy it at launch, but definitely buy it maybe 6 months or a year after, when everything is kind of like the kinks are all worked out. And God knows you might get bundles like how Evan was saying, it's always better that way. That's what I learned, in any type of console, you never buy at launch. It'll always go down in price because technology is evolving. They're always going to make it slimmer, more compact, better, hardware in it. I think for the most part, instead of how Evan was saying, I probably would thank the people that are testing it out, so that way we don't have to, because in that case, it's like, they're doing everyone else the favor. They're doing the dirty work nobody wants to do. So I think for the most part, that should be more or less praised rather than, I guess, I don't know. I think it just deserves more praise than it should, because none of us are wanting to do it. I feel kind of like a jerk not doing it, because I'm like, well, but yeah, that's at least my take on that aspect of it.